Welcome back. This is Kaya Redford. Okay, so we are now on step 5 of the 10 steps to being a master, actually, of influence and communication. So what is step 5? Step 5 is how to set up powerful frames and pre-frames. And I'm going to go into that in a little bit. First, I'd like to ask you, do you remember a little bit about former US President Ronald Reagan? And I had mentioned before on a couple other videos that he was the very first US president that was heavily trained in N.L.P, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And he was called the Great Communicator. So he learned a lot about communication through his study of N.L.P. And again, as you know, N.L.P is the study of human excellence. And in 1984, he was running against Democratic opponent Walter Mondale. And maybe you know a little bit about history, or maybe I can just share with you right now that at that time, Ronald Reagan would have been, having been elected as president, would have been the oldest president in US history. And so there was a lot of talk, a lot of people weighing in on maybe he's just too old. Yes, they thought, okay, well, and so that was the talk. And Ronald Reagan knew this. So when he then came into the election in 1984 against Democratic opponent Walter Mondale, he knew this was the perception. So what he did is he did a pre-frame. He knew that he was going to have to address this issue. So what he did is he said to as he was debating, he said, the comment was asked, what do you think about the speculation that, you're just a little too old for the job? and he said, it's interesting. He says, I will not use my opponent's youth and inexperience as a platform for winning this campaign. And that actually conjured up a laughter from the audience. It conjured up laughter even with his opponent, Walter Mondale. And as you know, Ronald Reagan ended up winning by a landslide. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to break this down for you just a little bit. Let me ask you, would you like to learn how to set up powerful frames in people's minds in such a way that you're helping them get what they want, and you're also maybe helping yourself get what you want? Would that be powerful? Okay, to be able to, in a way, create a perception that is the perception that opens the space for you to, win at your work, at your personal life, for people in your office to win, for you to win. Would you like to learn that? Okay, so let's read this really briefly, and then I'm going to share with you a little bit about what Ronald Reagan did, and ask you if you'd like to learn and master this with me, okay? Okay, so let's read this. So this says here, people make decisions and take actions based on what frame they're in. Would you agree with that? What mindset they're in, what perception they have. Would you agree with that? That's what I mean by frame. What frame they're in, I mean what mindset they're in, and I mean what perception they have, okay? Also, you can have an opportunity to pre-frame, which means you have an opportunity to create a frame, create a mindset in someone, create a perception in someone even before you walk into the room, or even before you consummate a deal or close a piece of business. Make sense? You're really creating a space for the people in your life to be receptive to what you're sharing. Make sense? Right, so pre-frame these people so they hold a unified perception with you. What you're saying is, I've got a perception, and I want the other person I'm communicating with to have the same perception as me. So how can I create my perception within their mind, so they have a unified perception with me? Make sense? This supports achieving the desired outcome for everyone involved. Okay? So it's because you want to create an outcome. So would you like to learn through the course of this program, as we continue, how to do this, how to master it? Would you? Awesome, awesome. So what I'd like to do is just, give you a little more understanding of what it is. And as we go throughout this program, we're going to learn how to do this and how to master it. So I have here 2 picture frames. Do you see that? One red and one green. I'm going to just imagine that the red frame is the no frame, just like the stop sign. No. All right? I'm going to imagine, just as an example, that the green frame is the yes frame, more like, or like the go sign at a traffic light. So stop sign red means stop, and we'll say green frame means go, like the traffic light go. And we're going to mean the stop as if to say where the person is stopping or objecting or saying no to our communication. And we're going to imagine the green frame is the person saying, yes, let's go with what you're saying, okay? So this is going to be the no frame, and this is going to be the yes frame. So when Ronald Reagan came into that election, the perception was what? That he was too old for the job. So that was the frame that people were looking at him from. So they were looking at him through this frame, and even his opponent, that you're too old for the job. So no, we don't think you're suitable to be president. You'd be too old for the job. There's a risk factor with that. Make sense? Okay. And what Ronald Reagan wanted to do is he wanted to change the frame so that the frame they had was, let's go with it. Yes, you're, whatever age you are. However, that's not an issue. That's not an obstacle. Let's say, yes, let's go with you as president. Correct? Are you following me? Awesome. Okay, so what pre-framing is doing is it's saying if someone has a negative frame or a no frame, you can actually pre-frame them so that you create this frame in their mind up front and in advance. Make sense? So the perception was, what do you think about the fact that speculation says you're too old to be U.S. president? You would actually be the oldest U.S. president in American history. And then what he did is he came in with a different frame. And his frame that he came in with is, you know what? I will not use my opponent's youth and inexperience as a platform for winning this campaign. So he just literally changed the frame. Make sense? Would you like to master this? Yes? Would you like to learn how to do this to a very powerful, effective level? Yes? If you are able to create perceptions and mindsets and what I call frames in people that you communicate with up front and in advance, would you think that that would have a monumental impact on your business and your success? Would you? Do you think that would help you make a lot more money if money is the goal? Do you think that would help you improve your relationships, all relationships, intimate relationships, family relationships, friendships, and all that? Would you like to learn all this stuff? Awesome, awesome. So let me give you one more example, and this is pretty common. Have you ever had someone that felt like you were too expensive? Have you? Okay, where whatever your product or services that you offer, maybe even you feel that, I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to charge this amount of money. I know it's worth that, but I don't know if anybody will pay that. Make sense? Have you ever had that experience? And has anybody ever kind of tried to talk you down in price? If your rate is X dollars, they try to make your rate X dollars minus 75% off or 50% off. Has that ever happened to you? Yeah? Okay, so let me give you another pre-frame. Okay, another pre-frame is this. What you could say to the person is, if they say you're too expensive, let's say, okay, I'll give you an example with me. Okay, let's say someone says, Kaya, you're too expensive. What I might say is, yeah, I am expensive. I know the value of this work. And people just like you, proactive people just like you, every single day come and work with me because they know that they will achieve their goals and meet their needs faster by working with me than by going anywhere else. So what does the person think? I want to achieve my goals. Do you want to achieve your goals faster? Do you want to reach your needs and fulfill your life faster? Or do you want to go the slow route? Do you want to take 20 years to be successful, or do you want to do it in 3 months, 6 months? And do you want to have monumental shifts every single day within those 3 months, 6 months? Would you like to do that? Okay, so as I've mentioned before, I'm taking on your goals as if they are my own, and I'm going to help you get there. And that pre-frame for someone that says something's too expensive is people just like you come work with me every single day, knowing even what the value of the content is, because they know, just like you know, that you will achieve your goals and meet your needs faster, much faster, by working with me than by going anywhere else. And what am I saying? I'm saying that when you're speaking to your client, hold your value. See yourself as a very valuable person in their life to help them achieve their goals, whatever that is. And know that your products, your services, who you are, what you bring to the table has of tremendous value. Do not devalue yourself. I'm going to be talking about this again on one of the other steps with a slightly different meaning, but I'm going to revisit this with you. Okay? Hold your value. So would you like to learn how to do this like the great former President Ronald Reagan, who, by the way, was known as the great communicator? Would you like to learn what he learned? And how an actor was able to become President of the United States of America. Isn't that amazing? Do you think he knew something? Awesome, awesome. All right, ready to continue? All right, I'd like to learn a little bit more and teach a little bit more of these frames with you. All right, see you on the next video.